In this video, I'm going to be naming the best max stacked running shoe of 2024. I've got all the best max stacked running shoes for us to look at today, and I will be naming the ultimate max stacked running shoe 2024. Hello everybody and welcome to FORDY Runs. My name is Chris Ford. I'm a running and athletics coach based here in the UK, and when I'm not coaching runners, I'm making YouTube videos about running and running shoes. And like I said, in this video, we're going to be naming the best max stacked running shoe of 2024. So how this video is going to work, we're going to talk briefly about each shoe. I'm going to tell you things I like, things I don't like about each. We're going to give you a brief overview of the stats and features of those shoes. And then most importantly, I'm going to be naming the best for certain sort of, well, key purchasing factors. Things like versatility, comfort, stability, that sort of thing. And then we're going to wrap it all up at the end, and I'm going to name sort of the worst to the best. Got it? Okay. Let's get stuck in. Right, so max stack shoes, what are they? So here's a good example, the More V5. So this has got over 40mm of stack. We've got a very soft and comfortable foam in the shoe. It's basically a daily trainer that can do sort of those easy miles, those recovery miles, some of those longer miles that you're happy just to plod about in. Some of them are a little bit more sort of walking focused, and some of them are now a little bit more performance focused. But they've sort of, they're derived from that original daily trainer. But yeah, basically it's another lineup to that daily trainer to offer you guys something a little bit different, a little bit more comfortable with that more stack in that more foam in it, because it may work for you. And that's the key thing here. These max stack shoes may not work for you. They may work for you. Everybody's different. For me personally, I'm not a massive fan of them, although I do have them in my running shoe rotation. Okay, you got that? Let's move on. So before we continue, I want you to let me know in the comments, do you like max stacked running shoes? Are they your kind of thing or not? And which one's your preference? Let me know in the comments. Now, the other thing we need to do before we get into each of the shoes is make sure you are all subscribed to this YouTube channel. We're trying to get to 22 million subscribers on this YouTube channel, so I need you all to stop what you're doing and subscribe. Okay, and also just a bit of a disclaimer sort of thing. We're not going to put the full disclaimer up, but basically all these shoes were pretty much, I think, they've all been provided to me for the purpose of review. But that won't make any difference to the opinions that I give. Okay, right, so let's go through which shoes we have, and then we'll sort of dive into those key purchasing factors that I want to talk about. So as we said, we've got the More V5, the Hurricane 24, the Mag Max, Cloud Monster 2, Super Blast 2, and Glycerine Max from Brooks. So they're the shoes that we're going to be talking about. Now, before you go completely nuts in the comments, I've deliberately kept Hoka out because I think their shoes are terrible and their PR people are just, well, rude. And also, the Skyward X has a carbon plate in it. I've tried to keep shoes out that have carbon plates, and that's a serious point. So that's why there's nothing from Hoka. I've also kept out the Asics Glide Ride Max because that's not available here in the UK. Asics, in their wisdom, are keeping that out of the UK at the moment, so that's why that's not appearing here. So they're two sort of, well, shoes that won't appear in this video. I hope that's okay with you. Right, so let's quickly run through what's going on in each shoe. So this is the Cloud Monster 2. It's 170 pounds, 35mm stack in the heel down to 29. We've got a dual density Helion midsole. We've got a nylon speedboard in here, and it's 307 grams. The Super Blast 2 is basically 200 pounds. You've got 45mm stack in the heel down to 37. We've got Flight Foam Turbo Plus, which is a Peber blend foam. It's 260 grams. And that's probably about it. This is the More V5. We've got 44mm stack in the heel down to 40, I think. I might be wrong there. Fresh Foam X Foam. What else you got? You've got a bit of blown rubber on the outsole. It weighs 335 grams. And that's probably all you need to know with that. Most of these shoes have engineered mesh uppers, so there's no point mentioning that because they're all pretty much the same. Saucony Hurricane 24 has got 38mm stack in the heel down to 32. It's 165 pounds. We've got the dual foam setup. We've got the Power Runner PB. This weighs 334 grams. Oh, the More V5 is 140 pounds. That's worth mentioning. Then finally, we've got the Puma Mag Max, which features the Nitro foam. The stack heights are 47 to 39. I think that's right. 323 grams, 170 pounds. You've got Puma grip on here because it's awesome. And yeah, I think that's it. Okay, so they're the main bits about the shoes that you need to know. But long story short, they're pretty much from 35 to 45, and maybe some are over in terms of stack height in the heel. They all feature pretty good outsoles. But like I said, none of them feature a carbon plate. We do have the nylon plate in the Cloud Monster 2, but that's the only plate in these shoes. Right, so before we continue, I am going to exclude one shoe, and that's the Super Blast 2. Now, the reason I'm excluding the Super Blast 2 is basically because this is the best shoe out of all of these shoes. It also features the Peber foam in here, so this is a performance foam versus the others. I know we've got the Power Run PB in one of the shoes, but long story short, this is just a standalone the best shoe out of all these shoes. This weighs less, this has got a better foam in it, you can do long runs in it, you can do easy runs in it, you can run a marathon in it, you can run a half marathon in it, you can train for a marathon in it, you can do everything in this shoe. This is, without doubt, the best shoe here, okay? So we're not gonna waste any time on that. We're gonna park the Super Blast 2. So imagine now that this doesn't exist, okay? So say goodbye to the Super Blast 2. Right, so in our imaginary world where the Super Blast 2 doesn't exist, now let's talk about each of these shoes and rank them which is best for what. Right, so in terms of comfort, the most comfortable shoes out of these are the More V5 and the Brooks Glycerine Max. These two shoes are extremely comfortable. Now, the Brooks features this DNA tuned, which has got this nitro-infused foam in it, but they've got sort of larger cells where they've done the technology down to smaller cells here, and that just has provided a really good ride with the guide cell technology to move you through, but it's exceptionally comfortable, particularly on those longer runs. It really, really is comfortable. Now, the More V5 is also very comfortable with the Fresh Foam X, but I think this is a little bit more to all sort of, walking, being on your feet all day. It is a running shoe, but I do think versus the Glycerine Max, this is less of a running shoe. This is extremely comfortable, okay? I'm just gonna say that now. But I think if you're looking as the sort of, which is the most comfortable running shoe, then it's the Glycerine Max. Right, so in terms of price, there's one winner here, and that's the More V5. This is £140, people. Now, all the others are like 170, £180. I know the Hurricane 24 is £165, but at £140, if you want a max stack running shoe, well, this can't be beaten on price. I do want to give a shout out to the Hurricane 24, because at £165, you are getting a lot of shoe. If you go with start finish, use the code FORDY runs, you're going to get this a little bit cheaper. So £165, yes, it's only £5 cheaper, but again, you can use the code and get it a little bit cheaper. But the More V5 wins on price. Okay, so versatility. Now, for me, in terms of versatility, the Mag Max is the winner. This shoe is fantastic at longer runs, it's fantastic at recovery runs, but also with this nitro foam, it can pick up the pace quite well. Now, I've used this as sort of my goal marathon pace at 8-minute miles, and it's absolutely loved it. Now, don't get me wrong, the Glycerine Max can handle some of those paces as well. I did an 18-mile run in this shoe when we first got it, which I think had about 9 miles at goal pace. Absolutely loved it. But overall, in terms of versatility, I think the Mag Max is the shoe that can do the most, okay? This is the one shoe that I think you could probably take into a race if that was the sort of thing you wanted to do. Now, I think it's important to talk about stability. Because these shoes have such high stack heights, it is worth talking about stability. Now, in terms of stability, there's only one winner, and that's the Hurricane 24. The shoe has been designed to create a stable ride. You've got a dual foam setup, you've got Power Run PB here, and then, it's probably easier there, you've got Power Run down there. So you've got like this firmer, denser foam here within the Power Run PB here, and it creates a very, very stable and smooth ride. Now, I do want to give a shout out to the Cloud Monster 2, because this too is a stable ride. I've had no problems with this shoe in terms of stability. So I think this is a good shout as well if you're after some form of stability, but as I said, the Hurricane 24 is the most stable here. Now, to be fair to them, considering their stack heights, most of these shoes are pretty stable. Yes, the Fresh Foam V5 is probably the most unstable out of them, but you've got to remember it's got a what's it load of foam in the heel. And then lastly, performance. So performance-wise, is the Mag Max is winning. A close second is the Brooks Glycerine Max. I like what they've done with the foam in the Glycerine Max. I think it's great, the DNA tuned with the guide cell technology. I just think it works extremely well. But for me, the nitro foam in the Puma just sort of edges it really. Like I said earlier, with versatility, this is a shoe that quite comfortably can run goal pace for me despite the weight of the shoe. It really does find it relatively easy to lick along at that goal pace for me. So yes, this shoe wins, but give a shout out to the Glycerine Max as well for performance. Okay, so now let's rank them. And again, people, remember, the Super Blast 2 doesn't exist. Okay, so in last place is the Cloud Monster 2. Now, by the way, all these shoes are pretty good, okay? So I'm just putting that out there. None of these are bad shoes. But in terms of versus the rest, this lacks the sort of, I don't know, stand out in any of the sort of, key buying factors that I've mentioned, comfort, price, that sort of thing. I just think this is a bit of a nothing shoe and actually looks better with a pair of jeans instead of running in it. Again, I don't dislike the shoe. In fact, I quite like it for wearing casually, but there's better options. So in fourth place is the Hurricane 24. Now, in terms of stability, this would win, but overall, the other shoes are better. They offer something a little bit different. This is a good shoe. Again, nothing wrong with any of these shoes. It's a smooth ride, good foams in it, fits well, rides well, looks good, but I just think the other shoes offer something a little bit different to this shoe. In third place is the More V5. Now this shoe is more of a sort of walking shoe, I would say. So, you know, I might go, oh, why is that so high? But it's just so damn comfortable and it's cheap. Like £140 is cheap compared to the others. So that's why this is in third place. I think it's a very good shoe, actually. It's a very comfortable shoe. And at the price that it's at, you're getting a lot of shoe. Now in a close second place is the Brooks Glycerine Max. I really like this shoe, and I mean I really like it. It just offers that versatility that I was after. The foams are good, it's stable, I think it looks great. It is expensive at £180, so that's why I've taken some marks off of it. But other than that, this is a very, very good shoe. But the winner for me is the Mag Max from Puma. Now it beats the Brooks on price, and for me performance is important because I'm looking for that shoe. If I want to pick up the pace, I can. I can use this for recovery runs, I can use this for easy stuff, but I can also go long in it. So the versatility of this shoe combined with the price and the stable ride and Puma grip and everything else that goes into it makes this the winner. Okay team, so there we go. You buy the Super Blast 2, but if you can't do that, then basically you buy the Mag Max or the Glycerine Max. Okay guys, so that's it. Make sure you've subscribed before you leave us today. Let me know in the comments whether you agree, disagree. If you are from Hoka, make sure you cheer up. And that's probably about it from me. I'll catch you all later.